China is making significant moves. No longer satisfied with just being the world's factory, China is creating its own trade pathways, challenging decades of Western dominance. This isn't a futuristic vision. It's happening now. From the active ports of Honduras to the ambitious Nicaragua Canal project, China is pouring resources into alternatives to the Panama Canal. This daring strategy could transform global trade as we know it. The stakes are immense. Controlling trade routes equates to controlling the global economy. For over a century, the United States has enjoyed a strategic advantage thanks to the Panama Canal. Now, China aims to shift the balance, with far-reaching consequences, affecting everything from the cost of goods to the global power structure. The Panama Canal is not just a waterway. It's a symbol of American engineering prowess and economic influence. This monumental engineering achievement stands as a testament to human ingenuity and determination, cutting through the rugged terrain of Panama to create a crucial link between two vast oceans. Completed in 1914, the canal transformed global trade by connecting the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, significantly reducing shipping times and costs. The construction was a massive endeavor, involving tens of thousands of workers and overcoming numerous challenges, from disease to difficult terrain. Its completion marked a new chapter in maritime history. This gave the United States a strategic edge, allowing it to control the flow of goods and project its power globally. The canal became a vital asset for U.S. military and commercial interests, enabling rapid deployment of naval forces and facilitating international trade on an unprecedented scale. For decades, the Panama Canal remained a cornerstone of the American-led global order. However, times are changing. The canal has undergone numerous upgrades and expansions to accommodate the ever-growing size of modern ships, yet the geopolitical landscape is shifting. China's rise as an economic powerhouse has brought with it a demand for resources and markets. The rapid industrialization and economic growth of China have driven its need to secure reliable and efficient trade routes to sustain its development and global influence. The existing trade routes, many controlled by the U.S. and its allies, are no longer sufficient for China's ambitions. The congestion and limitations of these routes have prompted China to explore new avenues to ensure the smooth flow of goods and resources necessary for its burgeoning economy. This has led Beijing to seek alternative routes, and Central America has become a focal point of this strategy. Through significant investments in infrastructure and partnerships with local governments, China aims to establish new trade corridors that bypass traditional routes, thereby reducing its dependency on U.S.-controlled pathways and enhancing its strategic reach in the region. China's focus on Central America isn't a recent development, but it has significantly grown in the past few years. Beijing has invested billions into infrastructure projects throughout the region, including ports, railways, energy, and telecommunications. These investments not only bolster China's economic connections with Latin America, but also create alternative routes for Chinese goods and resources. Among the most ambitious is the proposed Nicaragua Canal. This colossal project, funded by Chinese investment, aims to compete with the Panama Canal, providing a wider and deeper route for larger vessels. Despite facing logistical and environmental hurdles, the project highlights China's resolve to transform global trade pathways. China's financial ventures in Central America and other regions could dramatically reshape global trade dynamics. By establishing new trade routes, China lessens its dependence on the Panama Canal and other Western-dominated choke points. This strategy enhances Beijing's leverage in trade discussions and might shift the balance of economic power. For Latin American nations, China's investments present both opportunities and challenges. On one side, they offer essential infrastructure and spur economic growth. Conversely, they heighten reliance on China, potentially exposing these countries to Beijing's political and economic sway. This creates a delicate balancing act, with the long-term effects yet to be determined. Section 5. Case Studies. From Railways to Canals. China's initiatives extend beyond just massive canal projects. They encompass a broad range of infrastructure investments. Take Mexico, for instance, where China is constructing a high-speed railway linking the Pacific coast to key inland cities. Once completed, this railway would enable goods to travel from China to the United States, circumventing the Panama Canal. In Honduras, China has made significant investments in modernizing and building new ports. This secures a strategic position for Chinese companies in the Caribbean, offering alternative routes to the U.S. market. These case studies illustrate the vast and ambitious nature of China's global infrastructure plans, which go well beyond a single canal. Section 6. American Anxiety, Economic and Strategic Concerns. The United States is increasingly wary of China's activities in Central America. The idea of China gaining control over crucial trade routes in the Western Hemisphere is causing significant unease in Washington, both economically and strategically. From an economic standpoint, it challenges America's long-held dominance in the region and could weaken its position in trade negotiations. Strategically, China's growing footprint in Central America stirs fears about Beijing's military objectives. Although China claims its goals are purely economic, the U.S. is concerned that these investments might pave the way for a military buildup, posing a potential threat to American interests. This situation has prompted the U.S. to enhance military cooperation with its regional allies and ramp up diplomatic efforts to counter China's influence. Section 7. The West Responds. Competition and Collaboration. In this section, we explore how Western powers, especially the United States, are maneuvering through the complex landscape of global influence and power dynamics. The United States and its allies are not standing still as China extends its reach. They are actively planning and executing strategies to protect their presence and interests in crucial regions worldwide. Their response involves a blend of competition and collaboration, aiming to counter China's initiatives while also engaging with Beijing on shared concerns. This dual strategy is vital in a world where economic and political landscapes are increasingly interconnected. On the competitive front, the U.S. has ramped up its investments in infrastructure projects in Central America and other global regions. These investments go beyond building roads and ports. They are about establishing long-term strategic positions that can influence regional stability and economic growth. The U.S. is also bolstering its military presence in the region and collaborating with allies to counter China's diplomatic and economic influence. Joint military exercises and strategic alliances are being strengthened to ensure a robust defense against potential threats. Simultaneously, the U.S. acknowledges the necessity of cooperating with China on global issues like climate change and pandemics. These challenges transcend national borders and require a collective effort to address effectively. Striking the right balance between competition and collaboration will be crucial in managing this intricate geopolitical chess game. The stakes are high, and the decisions made today will shape the global order for years to come. Successfully navigating this delicate balance will determine the future of international relations and global stability. Section 8. The Future of Trade. A Multipolar World. China's strategic initiatives in Central America and beyond signal a shift in the global order. The Belt and Road Initiative, for example, is a colossal infrastructure project designed to link Asia with Africa and Europe through land and sea routes. This grand vision goes beyond mere construction. It's about crafting a new economic framework that benefits Chinese interests. The era of uncontested American supremacy is waning, giving way to a more multipolar world where China is increasingly assertive. The United States, once the unrivaled leader in global trade, now faces strategic competition from China. This transition is evident in the decline of American ports, and the concurrent rise of Chinese ports, which are emerging as new global trade hubs. This shift has significant implications for the future of global trade and the balance of power. As China extends its influence, other nations are reassessing their positions. Countries in Europe, Africa, and Asia are increasingly turning to China for trade partnerships, thereby reshaping traditional alliances and economic dependencies. Will China achieve its goal of redefining global trade routes? The success of China's strategy will hinge on various factors, including geopolitical stability, economic sustainability, and the ability to maintain positive relations with its trading partners. The development of new railways, ports, and canals marks just the beginning of a long-term plan to dominate global trade. Can the United States sustain its influence amid China's rise? The U.S. is not standing still. It is investing in modernizing its infrastructure and seeking new trade agreements to counterbalance China's growing influence. However, the challenge is formidable, and the outcome remains uncertain. These are some of the pivotal questions that will shape the 21st century. The decisions made by world leaders today will have lasting impacts on the global economy and international relations. Trade conferences and economic summits are becoming arenas for influence, where nations negotiate not just for economic gain, but for strategic advantage. One thing is clear: the world is becoming increasingly interconnected, and the competition for control of trade routes will only intensify in the coming years. As nations vie for dominance, the global landscape will continue to evolve, presenting both opportunities and challenges for all involved.